It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. On today's video we'll be looking for the absolute bargains that may have slipped by the price lords at the Fantasy Premier League towers. We'll scour the data looking for anyone who could provide FPL points for cheaper than others in the same position and or club. So let's go on an FPL journey of discovery with the stats from Fantasy Football Hub. Link for 25% off membership or use code TODAY25 at checkout to become part of the hub. So we start off with Phil Foden, priced at 6.5 million and 7.9% owned. When we talk about Manchester City, we immediately gravitate towards the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero, and if he's injured, Gabriel Jesus. But there's a 6.5 million player just chilling in that club that started to break into the first team last season, and now doesn't have David Silva and Leroy Sané to compete with. Whilst I'm not 100% sure he's nailed on, the fact that he's a youngster beating his XG and only likely to get better, I'm hopeful that Phil Foden could be a massive piece of a successful FPL season. We then have Riyad Mahrez, who I believe is being overlooked at 8.5 million, also from Manchester City. Riyad Mahrez's numbers were fantastic last season, and when he's given time, he has performed admirably. 175 points is nothing to ignore, and with 25 goal involvements over the season and outperforming his XG and XA, there's the potential he's now become more nailed on at Manchester City. He's a proven winner and was brought in by Pep and has seen an increase in his performance year on year. If he improves this year at 8.5 million, he could get similar numbers to the likes of Raheem Sterling and KDB, enough so that you can bring in a heavy hitter from a different club. Before we move on, if you enjoy the content in this video, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Also hit that notification bell to join the notification squad. In the comments down below, let me know who you think the most undervalued players are in the Fantasy Premier League. Now the next player we're going to discuss does come from Manchester United, and whilst I was going to talk about him myself, my friend from Fantasy Football Focus, Graham, is going to give you the lowdown on Mason Greenwood.
Thank you JNO, and hello to the flock, Triple F here. So, underpriced player pick for me, it's going to have to be Mason Greenwood, priced at just 7.5. And again, all the stats I've taken from Fantasy Football Hub. So, Greenwood got 69 points last season, and we all know he's pretty much broken into that Man United side now. He had 31 appearances with 10 goals and 1 assist. Which whenever I watch him makes perfect sense, as he takes his chance in the right areas not to have to assist but to just tuck it away, which is what shows in his XG of 4.37. Also, finally, if you don't think he's underpriced, just look at the team around him, which includes the new go-to big hitter Bruno Fernandes, Rashford and Martial, and when he's in the mood, Paul Pogba. Look at those player values, and I'm sure it won't be long till Greenwood is joining their price bracket. So yeah, the flock, that is my underpriced player pick, Mason Greenwood.
Thanks Graham for giving us a lowdown on Mason Greenwood, much appreciated, and of course you'll be seeing more of Graham here on FPL Today as he helps me give you guys the best advice to make sure you get the best FPL rank you can get this season. The next player we're looking at is from West Ham, and it is Souček at 5 million. Before the fixtures came out, everyone and their mother was recommending Souček as a go-to budget player for our FPL sides. When the fixtures came out, everyone soon moved on. West Ham fixtures are absolutely terrible for the start of the season. However, he has scored in pre-season, and he has a great record of scoring goals before his move to West Ham. Some of those goals even came against very big clubs in Europe. If you consider he only played 1,041 minutes and he's still got 3 goals, 5 million even with the fixtures, he could be a perfect piece of the puzzle of your FPL side. Then we move on to Che Adams, and at 6 million and 2.5% owned, we're looking at a player that I really didn't think I'd be suggesting to you guys if you'd asked me whether he would be an option this season before lockdown had happened. But his form after Project Restart was phenomenal. 4 goals and 4 assists was what he ended his season on, and whilst there is some concern around whether he is nailed on, he does seem to be adapting to the Premier League, and I'm very hopeful that he can make a mockery of his 6 million price tag. And we're going to end the video going over the options at Chelsea, and I think Chelsea could have a lot of value like they did last season in the FPL game. We start off with Hakim Ziyech at 8 million, and he is currently 21.8% owned, but that doesn't change the fact that I think he could potentially be underpriced. And the fact of the matter is, Chelsea could be adding to their ranks with Kai Havertz looking very likely to join the club. I really think that one of these options that I'm about to suggest to you, Hakim Ziyech being one of them, are great options at Chelsea and come in at considerably cheaper prices than their counterparts at Manchester City, Liverpool and even to an extent Manchester United. In Hakim Ziyech you are getting a player at 8 million coming out of a side like Ajax, who were Champions League semi-finalists 2 seasons ago, are known for producing top quality players, and is joining a side that are beefing up their attack and making themselves hopefully more potent as an attacking force, as they did create the 3rd most chances in the Premier League last season. This means that Ziyech could be the perfect balance of goals and assists like KDB was in the season just gone. We then have Christian Pulisic coming in at 8.5 million, just 0.5 million more expensive, and the majority of the community, when his price was revealed before the game launched, thought he was underpriced. While his start wasn't perfect at Chelsea last season, he did score that perfect hat-trick and settled nicely at Chelsea at the end of the season. 9 goals and 8 assists could be improved upon, and if you're worried about other Chelsea players being new to the league, Pulisic has a season under his belt and has his place to fight for with all these new signings coming in. And then finally we've got Timo Werner coming in at 9.5 million and 38.7% owned at the time of recording this video, and he comes in with a great goal scoring pedigree from the Bundesliga. I've always recommended this guy, but I feel like Chelsea may have found a striker to put the multiple chances they create away. 28 goals was the 3rd best of any striker in any European elite league last season, and add to that the 8 assists and the potential of penalties, although that might have been diminished with the potential arrival of Havertz. I truly believe that Werner is undervalued. Maybe it will take some time for him to settle in, but I think there are definitely a lot of goals in the German. And before we sign off on this video, we come to the hashtag EOV end of video question for the day, and the question comes from Joshua Noott. I know I've said that wrong, and I'm going to keep saying names wrong when I do this EOV question, but he does ask, would you rather have a £6 million midfielder and a 4.5 million defender, or a 6 million defender and a 4.5 million midfielder? And to be honest, if I didn't think about it, I'd naturally gravitate more towards a £6 million midfielder and a 4.5 million defender. But then when I actually try and put players into these slots, I automatically think of the likes of Doherty, Luca Digne and other options from the big 6 that I could put into a £6 million defender slot. However, when I look at £6 million midfielders, I struggle to find players I'm as confident in. Looking at that price bracket for midfielders, the highest scoring player of last season was Lundstrom at 5.5 million, and he was a defender last year. Dwight McNeil comes in at 6 million with 123 points, and then we have the likes of Westwood with 118, Ward-Prowse with 117, and Henderson with 116. Switched to £6 million defenders, and Doherty got 167 points. Tarkowski also at 5.5 million got 143 points. Stevens and Baldock from Sheffield United got 142, and Egan got 133. You also have the likes of Azpilicueta, Wan-Bissaka, Ricardo Pereira, Digne and potentially Chilwell, who could also be going to Chelsea, amongst the defenders you could get for 6 million or less. So I just feel like even with the potential players that I could look at in that price bracket that could improve on their performance last year, like Trossard, Almiron, Trezeguet, Ward-Prowse, McGinn and St Maximin, I just have a lot more faith in those defenders to stay around the same points, and I don't really know what the midfielders would do. So to answer the question, after looking into it, I think I prefer to go for B over A, the £6 million defender and a £4.5 million midfielder. So there you guys have it. Let me know what you think of the undervalued players in the FPL game and which you want in your FPL sides. Also, thank you for watching this video, and if you've watched till the end, leave a question with the hashtag EOV and potentially get your question answered at the end of a future video on this channel. If this video has helped you, please again consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.